In the previous chapter, after no one spoke, for I that he will leave her quite excited to say goodbye to him, so she says that they return to the university in a few days to participate in the competition. Nig thinks that while I is with Liu, he should not be worried because this boy has already proven himself quite powerful the other day. Why Moya are heading towards Dangel, and some veterans are impressed by the beauty of going so far as to comment that she is very beautiful. The other extra sins yours colleague shut up because the guy who is next to this girl is the god of death. Limu then he asks if he wants to be eliminated. Limu comments that after his new attributes they managed to arrive to the job boss less than 4 hours. Then Lim and order so that their skeletons attack and tell the boss that he sorry but will test your new ones powers after eliminating her in a matter of minutes. Limu activates Foe's ability. Thanatos call it a vocation. Then Limus steal the hand of the dance leader. After leaving the danjo, a man came into view. Before them and around them are several Karawa. After RJ sees it, and he stays mesmerized by her beauty. Then soon he fights with his subordinate, saying, how can he be so rude about this young beautiful girl? Rog completely in love with I call her a beautiful lady, and invites her to work alongside him. Scared and runs behind the Limu, and he tells Roger he can forget because that won't happen. Guys, this is the continuation of the previous video. If you haven't seen the other videos yet, I'll leave a SATA playlist below now. Let's continue where we left off. After Lemino say that to Rare, he claims that Limu is quite arrogant, and then he mentions that Limu is just a level 25 and that he is more qualified to help. Missar suggests that Limu should be limited to low-level dance, and he asks if Limu has any idea of the level of the dance they intend to go to. Excited Rog tells Limu they are going for dance from the front post of combat in hellish difficulty to conquer the legendary title today, so put it in there. As soon as you complete D, get your title, we'll invite you again to be part of his team, and doesn't hold back from laugh, leaving Roger without understanding his reaction to hearing Roger say that he will be the first to over the title of Dangel OS. Veterans start laughing quickly. One of Roger's subordinates runs into his direction and whispers that someone has already won the title of dancer from the rank of front of combat in difficulty infernal, and it's the boy in front. Roger gets angry and orders him to. Soldiers approach him and after meet and discuss their plans with the subordinate. Naldo questions whether they will really do this because they are in an area of Xenia and most professionals are from there, and if something happens they can suffer a mass attack. Animated Roger, tell your subordinate not to worry because he just needed to do the things in discreet way, taking them to inside the dance, and if they end up being dead, other people will assume that was the accident of Danho Lim. See those people acting in such a way. Strangely, he tells only Oris to go and that they should just keep farming. Gel quickly and agree, and soon then he Muyu, and she entered the Dangel. Again, Rog quickly activates a Dangan tracking scroll. This scroll allows the user follow someone who has entry into a Dango, and the veterans spot Roger too. Entering the Dangel, he wonders if he didn't say he was going to Solar Dangel, so the old-timers wonder why Roger is taking his team along with him, and because he just used a parchment inside Dangel are your team in front of Limu and leaving her scared. Today, then holding the parchment, speak that the post that Limu didn't expect. He entered with them, then he says he heard that Limu completed the gel alone and stole his title, and that he has no choice but to eliminate him, because only then will he get his gel title. And then Raj activates legendary sealing scroll, scared teleportation, and tries to activate her escape talisman, but she realizes that it's not working, so she says to Limu that they won't be able to get out of the Danjo. Rogan's guards comment that they must be desperate to get away. Then darkly Rogan asks if they are scared or terrified. Faced with this situation, he then says that Limu will pay the price for underestimating the order of the Holy See. Quickly revokes, approaches I, and says he won't eliminate it so easily because he has plans for she how to make her toy Nemo. Looks at Rog and smiles, then scared. Roger asks why Liu is smiling. Liu begins to summon his skeletons and then he says that as Rogus trapped inside the Dangel using a legendary scroll means they also cannot leave here without completing. To quickly Dangel several skeletons go after Rog and his guards, making him ask what creatures. These are the ones so Limu and the surrounded by. Your skeleton warriors, says Roger. You should first study your enemy before attacking him. Then he says that if Roger for able to fight 100 times and win every battle, you will be the winner of this fight, otherwise he will suffer the limb consequences. Mentions that Roger has no idea what his profession is and his abilities and still decided, come over here and try to eliminate him. Roger asks if Lemino wants to delete it using a bunch of skeletons for Oppos. Then Rog tells Leo that he has legendary warrior profession, volcanic, one of the most powerful. Quickly Roger activates the volcanic body skill and orders that his guards attack Limu. He sends Lim Muyu contemplate its volcanic body and explains that in this state all his attributes are tripled and the power of attack of your skills too triples. The damage he takes is reduced by 300%. In addition, he is immune to Gru. Roger's control skills asks if Limu thinks this simple. Do you have any chance against him? After the Roger's subordinates receive the buff, they begin to glorify him by saying that His Highness is incredible and Vittoria Ja, it's theirs. Roger then smiles and says that in this state he is immortal. Slime and Vector Jay's scene thinks it was to be expected for something like this to happen in a legendary profession and a skill which it has a powerful effect on. However, his allies are probably not has similar skills to him. Then quickly activated the skill curse of slowness, leaving Roger's guards and prisoners. Then he shouts for his support to break this curse as soon as possible before let these skeletons come closer. Quickly Rog attacks from the skeletons Limu warriors, but he can do it. Defend it. So Rog wonders how is it possible that these skeletons be so powerful. After one of the skeletons make an attack on one of the warriors, Rog he tries to defend from the attack, but his shield is broken by throwing away, and the desperate magicians ask how this is possible. Comment: these creatures are very powerful. They claim that it will be their end and that will be eliminated. Ho is shocked to ensure that your team members are being eliminated by skeletons of Limu. Right after Limu eliminate them, then he smiled and said that it was easier many things for him, and now he just there's one idiot left. Rog is furious. Hear Elmu insult him, then he screams, saying that he will eliminate him at the cost. Limu soon activates your ability of vocation and says he was very lucky because I was already getting worried that he couldn't find a suitable place to test your new skill. Then Limu claims that Roger appeared from Trey for him, and then the Daner boss appears before Roger. Limu says that how would Roger like to complete the dance on hellish difficulty alone. He did the favor of bringing the boss up to him, and Moon so sent Rock face him and defeat the boss of the dance. Roger is incredulous at that creature. Then he wonders how the Limu is able to summon the dragon guardian because he is the head of the infernal difficulty. And before Roger can the dragon do something, guardian attacks Roger by throwing a punch extremely powerful. So Roger tries defend the attack, but he is strongly thrown against the wall, leaving seriously injured. Roger comments that he was seriously injured with just one gel boss attack. Then he thinks which volcanic body of his was destroyed with just one blow and wonder if this is the strength of DJON's boss in hellish difficulty. Soon after, the guardian dragon advances again in towards Roger, launching another attack. Desperate Rog says Limu can't eliminate him because he is the son of a god. Then he says if Lemino does this with him, he will suffer great consequences. Then Limu, in front of Roger with the grim expression, says they can't do anything against him. Right after, the guardian dragon makes an attack, powerful, causing a huge explosion, eliminating Rog a few minutes later. And get the ZR Dropo. Then she says no. I expected him to be an idiot who just despised people and begged for his life in the face of death, and speaks to Limu that he is a member of the Order of the Holy Faith. Then she asks if Limu is not afraid. Let them come after him. Limu responds that no, and says that it may come when the want, and then starts to smile at Limu and says no matter what, whatever happens, she will always be by your side. So Limo Yui decides to keep doing it. Angel then she asks what they will do with the dropped equipment by her group, and I tell her to wait for now because they still need complete the angel at the headquarters of Order of the Holy See. The statue begins to shine, informing that the rut had been eliminated, and members of the Order of the Holy Say informs that they have to communicate. The Papa quickly in another location meets with God, then he speaks. For no queer rar to see you here, in God by asks why no one has the expression of anger and questions whether someone irritated him. Irritated, no one shouts at God. You ask why he gave the mission for him on the battlefield of Yuan. So Nig asks God will be honest and says if he was the one who asked that boy flirting with his granddaughter, and God says what no one is talking about. It's nonsense because Limu is an individual, sensible and remarkable, and because he would flirting with his granddaughter, sighs and says that boy said that could take going to DJ on infernal difficulty, so no one ask if you can trust Limo Udeus. By tells Nig he can rest assured because he will find out when they return back to Limu, and they complete. Joe again after leaving Limu is already at level 26, and at level 23 she says that your talisman is on CD and cannot be to go to Joe again. She comments that plans to vote and deliver items from mission then, and ask if Limu is going make the same lemon, then say that will also return as the competition is coming. He will take advantage of this time to sell the equipment that they had dropped some time later in the shopping center. After placing all the items to sell, the merchant speaks, which all adds up to around 20 million. So the trader asks if Slime really will sell them, and Mew responds yes. Merchant is impressed because these are all the it from Jonah. Hellish difficulty, and he wonders who is this kid. After Limo comes out of the shopping center, he calls Dewsby. Then Godby asks why Limo came back so soon. Limu says he has already finished mission, and God is incredulous and comment that Limu finished her a lot fast. Then it forms to Slime. Find him a few minutes later. Godby, seeing that Limu is already at level 26, is impressed, so he asks how Limu leveled up so quickly. Limo responds that he stayed with Klinjo without stop. God will say that the bill is not hit because even if Limu has completed the nightmare difficulty several times, level gain would not be as expressive. Limu responds that he was doing the hellish difficulty and that there was someone with him. Ming starts to smile and says that he said that Limu was capable of alone clear the Jaja Infernal, and that probably the other person with Limu, she was the granddaughter of the old man. Ning Limu is left without Wei, and God will say that if it is so, Limo got the title of King Danjo. Dragon Pan more than Slime answers yes, and smiling twice congratulates Limu. Then he says he supposes that all cooling loads of the Limu talisman was used after Limu put the missions raw on the table, and the talisman, he says he can't get it. Find an alchemist and would like that. God will help you. God will speak for Limu that recharge the talisman of cooling is not something easy to achieve. Do but how Limu performed. Very good, it will help you carry it. We'll let you know when it's ready soon. Limu thank God for. Then he asks if Limu is aware of the competition, and Limu answers yes. God B explains Limu that the competition is carried out once every 5 years, and this year will be the Empire of Xenia that will host the competition, and which will take place in 10 days. Your speech to Limu, who not only wants he participates but wants Limu to be the Limu champion, says everything is fine and that you can leave it with him. Then Limo hands over the equipment he had dropped from Roger and asks God for help. Keep them. God by asks why Slime comes with the said equipment. Volcanic of the Order of the Holy See and Mingal. See this S and say that you heard that the volcanic set was given to the Knight Volcanic last year. So Ming asks if Limu eliminated. Limu says that they were the ones who tried to eliminate him within of D, and that he simply got rid of them. Soon Ming releases immense power, asking how they used try to attack its students in the middle of the territory of Xenia Ming. So he said he heard that the Order of the Holy Sia is capable of resurrect its members, and that probably that P is still alive. So he says he will sort it out, but God by tell Ming to calm down because he is being too hasty. Then speak to Limu that should be enough. So he asks Limu to vote and leave things with him from now on, because then after so many years of nativity, seems like your other title, it was forgotten, and God of the massacre of Shania Mimyu is impressed. Then He thinks he heard that God be. I invaded the country and single-handedly eliminated 2 of the strongest major players in there and almost destroyed the country completely. Alone Godbar, so say you can't. Do it alone, and you will have to. Communicate the old Ning, then he ask if Ming can do you a favor to him and asks him to make the paste. Taking out and recharging the Resi talisman. Breastfeeding Ming responds that there is no problems and you can let it go. Resolve these things, so Ming speaks. That in moment that horde boy of the Holy See dared to play with the granddaughter of the old man. No one like that. Autok sentenced to death sometime later. In the Order of the Holy See, one of the members of the Order of the Holy S see something in the sky, then suddenly a great fireball appears leaving them. Scared, then people wonder, what is that, because it is very scary. They say this is the magic of the wizard. Divine, he wonders if this is the volcanic appearance, the god of fire. Soon one of the extras points to the S, informs that next to the fireball the enemies, then he says to them, levitate. They probably passed by. Third change of profession, and soon they shout asking to inform the Pope, who are being attacked. Curious Ning. Shout to Gubbit and leave, then God by. Shout to Gubbit and leave right now too. The outside guys, thank you all who has watched this far. I ask you to leave a like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment saying whether we should continue with our adventure. It helps us a lot to keep producing our content. Thank you all who stayed until now, and until next time. Adventure. Guys, I changed the voice, so see if you like it, or do you prefer the old one, and subscribe to the channel. Don't subscribe. Don't forget to bring more videos like this.